Greetings to you. Speaking is Rugunguko Jean from Bridges to Prosperity. I am the Rwanda Operations Manager. I welcome you all to a country of Southern Hills, Rwanda. We are in Kanyinya Hills, and this is Nyarusanje Troll Bridge, a bridge that was constructed in partnership of Bridges to Prosperity and the government of Rwanda. We are to speak about the powers of connection. And the connection we are speaking today is not about the social networking that people are familiar with, but rather that portion of infrastructure that helps you to connect to other communities or you to be able to have access to the human needs. But can you imagine that on the earth here, there is 1 among 7 people not having access to the human needs, and that translates to 1 billion people globally that are living into rural areas and living into poverty isolation. They are not able to have access to education, have access to their economic development activities. They are not able to take their farm's product and then bring them to market. This is a global crisis and it has to have a solution. Bridges to Prosperity is an international non-profit organization that has embarked into the provision of a solution to this particular problem. And you can see this beautiful structure here that is called a troll bridge. And these are the troll bridges that Bridges to Prosperity is providing. You can understand very well that it is very unfortunate for a brilliant kid to be held back at school because he is not able to cross a flooded river. You can feel the frustration as a parent to have your kid retained at school and you are on the other side of the river and you can't share the night that particular day. And how about his brother who really is not able to attain his national examination for him to be able to graduate from primary school to high school or from high school to university? To him, that means he will have to wait another 12 months for him to be able to sit for the examination because of a particular day when the river has flooded and he cannot be able to cross. Bridges to Prosperity has been providing solutions to rural isolation for the last 20 years. It has been working with 21 governments and local communities to provide this solution that you can see here that is called a troll bridge. A troll bridge is a simple but very sustainable and affordable to communities and countries. In fact, you can see it's made of the local materials. These materials are available in the local communities in the countries. We can talk about the power of connection looking at the work that Bridges to Prosperity has been working, because in the 21 years Bridges to Prosperity has been able to give a connection to 1,200,000 people. And this connection has raised tremendously the lives of the people into these communities. The power of connection can be demonstrated into the third-party research, who has demonstrated that there is an increase of 75% in the farm products values. There is an increase of 36% in the labor market incomes, and a very great increase of 60% of women entering the labor market. That's the power of connection we are talking about today. That's the power of a troll bridge giving a connection that we are talking about. You would wonder, what could it take for the whole world to be able to solve the problem totally? Statistically speaking, the researchers have demonstrated that it would only require 1% of the transportation budget to be reallocated to troll bridge construction. And that's it, and you have solved the problems of 1 billion people globally. Rwanda, for example, has embarked in the construction of trail bridges like the one you can see here, and they will construct 355 bridges together with Bridges to Prosperity to make sure they give a connection to 1 million people. And the recent research has demonstrated that there will be an increase of 30% of the labor income combined into a household whenever a bridge is constructed into a certain community. Everyone else can have a role to play in this business in order for the world to be able to fight against this crisis. You can approach national and international organizations like Bridges to Prosperity for you to learn, understand, feel the mood of what it takes for a community to live without bridges, without connections, and then figure out what could be your contribution in order to provide such infrastructures to the world, and we solve the problem together. That would be your contribution, and that will be greatly embraced by the communities that are living in the rural areas. And lastly, as a transportation engineer, I want to challenge you. Imagine in the future when you are set up for a school, set up for shopping, setting up for a work trip, and think about a life when you don't have that particular infrastructure that takes you from home to school, or from home to shopping, from home to leisure activities. Because in transportation engineering, we say that travel demand is a derived demand. You don't just wake up and travel. You only travel when you have a purpose. Maybe you take a kid to school. Maybe you want to go for a leisure activity, for sport, for work. You don't just travel. You have that demand that you refer to in order for you to travel. If you don't have a connection, if you don't have access to that other side where you're going to do activities, then you are not able to develop, you are not able to raise your living standards. And can you imagine, in the 21st century, that's the life of 1 billion people globally, and we are claiming a world where technology now is at its utmost advancement. It doesn't have to be like this. We all have a role to play in order to fight against this crisis. Thank you.